Welcome to Quad Radio once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to wrap up the 2012 season opener for the Grand National Cross Country Championship at the Parts Unlimited River Ranch GNCC. And what a great day of racing we had yesterday. And one of the guys that finished top three and was vying for the opening win of the year, that was none other than Adam McGill. And Adam, I tell you, buddy, welcome back to GNCC Racing, and welcome back to the podium. You got up there on the podium yesterday. I know it isn't necessarily quite where you wanted to be on the podium, but you got there.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely everybody wants to be in the center of the box, but like I said, it's definitely hard to beat that guy. The guy that's running the number one plate, he's number one for a reason. So hats off to him for running a good race, but not bad considering I've only been on the quad for 3 months, and it's definitely getting better. That's for sure.
And I know we've talked here on Quad Radio earlier in the season and stuff, and we've talked here this weekend leading into the first round of racing on Sunday, and it's been a program that has really come together somewhat easily, but not without a lot of work, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely took a lot of work, a lot of family effort, a lot of time. As I like to say it, we're definitely, as I would like to say, a factory family. So we're definitely all pulling together. Mom, Dad, both my sisters have been behind me. My girlfriend Haley. It's definitely a big deal, and it's definitely a big part. And it's definitely from not lack of support around the town I grew up in either.
I know. I drive through West Union a lot, man, and it's funny, people ask me, hey, do you know Adam McGill? Just when I'm stopping through the gas station or something crazy like that, because they'll see all the GNCC stickers and stuff on my car. And I think that's pretty neat that you got that kind of support around that area. And not only that, everywhere it seems like. And, even the fan support here yesterday, it was unbelievable, man. I mean, a lot of people out there cheering you guys on and trying to get you, revved up to the checkers. And let's talk a little bit about this race, man. I mean, it was probably not the race that a lot of people were expecting to see. A lot of unknown variables popping up here and popping up there with Brian Wolf and his finger, and just people not getting off to as good a start as they wanted, or whatever the case may be. But the one thing that did hold true was it was a barn burner right down to the very end. I mean, it became basically a three-man breakaway between you, Chris Borch, and Chris Bithell, and it was literally, I heard this statement so many times, you could throw a blanket over them, and every time you guys would come through, except there at the finish, man, that was literally the truth. You could have thrown a blanket and caught all three of you guys at one time.
Yeah, for sure. We was all a tight group. I know I got out to, a good start. My motor experts, Honda, pulled really good off the start. I was in the third, got in the woods, got around, McClure actually led me around, and, just put the hammer down. The tires were working good. The axis shocks were working great. All my Lone Star components were just, I couldn't ask for a better program, and just everything was working so good, and it just, it was just a good day. I'm glad I was able to come out on top, as far as a good program, and, I didn't know what exactly was going to happen coming into this round, but I know I talked to my title sponsor, Precision Racing, and he told me, he's like, just relax, you'll be fine. He said, you have the talent, you have the speed. My parents were telling me that, and you're always going to doubt yourself no matter what. And when the green flag dropped, I never really looked back. Just run a good pace. I thought was able to run up front, and really never changed it all day till the last lap and a half or so. I started running into some braking issues. I just didn't believe the brakes good enough and had a little bit of air in the lines. But for the most part, for what we had and coming out, I definitely surprised myself, and I think I surprised a lot of other people being able to, like my mom always brings up, it's been 5 years and I've been on 3 different machines, and been able to be competitive on one. She said, the only thing to stay consistent has been yourself. So I kind of pride myself on being able to be a versatile rider, to jump on one brand to another and still be competitive.
Yeah, I know, talking back with you earlier in the preseason leading up to the season, we talked about the fact that, you have the 2 years at KTM, you had the factory support there and everything, you had the 2 years at Can-Am with the factory support and everything there. I mean, you are, I wouldn't want to say kind of spoiled as a rider, but I mean, honestly, you could have gotten spoiled with the kind of things that were being offered to you, man. I mean, you had some really great programs, and to be able to switch from that to go back to the grassroots part of it, and you didn't miss a beat.
No, I mean, and I'll be straight up honest with everybody out there. You know, I was spoiled. It does spoil you, you know, no matter where you go. I mean, if you get, you know, I was fortunate enough to be one of the few guys that's had a factory ride in this industry, and, you know, I'll never forget the people that's got me there, and never forget the people that was there when I was in, and it definitely was nice to be able to make a phone call, and whatever you needed, whenever you needed it, was taken care of, and that's why I kind of call my new gig a factory family, because it relies a lot on, you know, my family and the mafia even, and, you know, the support out there was insane yesterday at the race, and, you know, I couldn't ask for a better deal, and, you know, it's definitely stressful, it's definitely a lot of work, but, you know, all in all, I'm happy with my decision. You know, I didn't know where exactly my career was going to go at this point, but, you know, I'm still able to do it and have a lot of fun at it, and if everything goes well like I'm hoping and like it's looking, you know, I don't think I'll ever really miss the deals. I mean, if they come back, you know, I'll definitely consider it, but, you know, as of right now, I'm liking it.
That's great, and that's good news to hear. And we talked about this on Saturday too, Adam, but, you know, there were a lot of rumors initially whenever the program got underway, and this was even late in the program. I mean, just a few weeks ago, man. I mean, people were telling me Adam McGill hates that Honda. Adam McGill hates that Honda. He's not a bit satisfied. I mean, and to see what you did yesterday and to see the attitude that you got and listen to you, man. I mean, even though there might have been some frustrations at some times, I don't think you ever really hated anything, did you?
Nah, I mean, you know, you're comparing apples to oranges here, and the best way I can explain it to you is every year, everybody's always trying to outdo each other, whether it be ATVs, motorcycles, cars, you know, boats, whatever. Everybody makes new things to outdo one another, and that's what keeps the market going. It keeps everything competitive. And, you know, Honda came out with a brand new 2012, and it really, I mean, it's a new quad, but it was still virtually unchanged since 06. And, you know, whereas Can-Am's made changes, Yamaha's made changes, you know, all these companies are making changes, and, you know, it's essentially teaching an old dog new tricks, more or less, is what it's like. And, you know, I wouldn't say I hate it. There was definitely some frustration, some struggles there, but, you know, after riding yesterday, I had a good start, got out front, and, you know, I'd actually tell myself, I'm like, you know what, this thing ain't that bad, and started to like it. You know, I can honestly say, you know, every bike's better in its own way, but, you know, with the components I have on it and the companies I have behind me, we definitely have a bike that's able to win a championship, I feel.
Hey, yeah, I was talking to Brian Wolf, who's also a fellow Honda rider, and he was telling me the same thing, man. He said he was on the Honda last year, and he said, you know, this new Honda is the best one he's ever ridden. He thinks, himself personally, says it's probably the best bike out there. He's adapting to it, and obviously it sounds like you did too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Brian's been on it longer than I have. The last time I can say I actually rode a Honda or even a Japanese ATV was 2007. And, you know, 2008, 2009, I was on KTM, which was an Austrian-made bike, and then 2010, 2011, I was on a Canadian bike, you know, the Can-Am. And, you know, to get back on a Japanese bike definitely takes some time, and definitely it's different for sure. But, you know, it's where Brian's, you know, been on it for a bit. I've been on it 3 months, and it can only get better. I really feel that, you know, the program's coming together, and me and my dad's definitely getting along good and definitely making things happen. It's definitely not it's not like butting heads anymore and beating a dead horse, so to speak. So he knows what I expect of him, of me, and, you know, as long as we go out there and, you know, as long as I give it my best and he gives it his best, whether it be first or 15th, you know, that's all that matters, as long as I go out and try my hardest. And, you know, everybody wants to win, but you can't win every race. It's just, I mean, it's possible. You know, Fowler did it, but at the level that we're at now, it's almost impossible. So, you know, to come out with a second the very first round on a new quad and a new program and, you know, new everything essentially is definitely, you know, very satisfying for myself.
I'm sure that it it is. And let's talk about that, man. You did it. I'm sure. I think Chris Bithell thought he had it in the bag at one point. I know that as long as you led yesterday, you thought you had that thing in the bag yesterday. I heard a statement that actually Casey Greek made to me about Chris Bithell. I said, man, what happened? He said, he got borged. And, I think both of you got borged yesterday. And what is a borage? I mean, it's that last lap thing that you just don't know where it comes from. I mean, did you make a mistake? Because, I mean, you were riding first, and then I think I heard reports that you were in third, and you moved back up to second before you got to the checkers.
Yeah, I never really made a mistake. It's just what Chris has that I, myself, and then Bithell is missing is essentially the time in the class. I mean, look how many years he's been running pro versus us, and it's just, you got to be smart. I would say it's more of a mind game. I mean, anybody can ride fast, anybody can hold throttle wide open, but you got to be able to harness all that. Your talent, your mental capability, your timing, everything has to be just perfect. And I know where Borge passed me was a section that I missed. Spectators were pointing. I wasn't looking. I was looking down at the quad, and watching things in front of me. I didn't see the spectators point. Borge got around me. Bithell passed me in a section where I bobbled. So yes, I did mess up there. But I know I was back in third and coming through on I guess it would be the last lap. And I know Bithell was riding good. His bike would look good, and Borge was in front of me. And I was just like, man, I said, I know it's going to happen. I know Borge is going to make a move here. And I mean, I seen what he was doing. I seen where he was going. And the things that I seen was something that I never saw before, as far as, being a younger pro, of course, to him. And the line choices he was able to pick out was definitely legal for sure, but it was just something that you would really have to look for, that you would get over time. And when it happened, I was just like when the trail split, I'm like, here it goes. And I watched the whole thing happen. I'm just like, I don't know how this guy does it. And I think Bithell could have crowded him and maybe kept the spot, but I don't know what could have happened. I mean, they might have took each other out. Borge might have lifted. I don't know. But when it all comes down to it, we're all friends, and we're all going to, we're not going to put each other in danger. But we are out there to race, and we are out there to do the best that we can. And to watch that happen, I know it's heartbreaking for Bithell, and it's heartbreaking for myself to know to watch that, because I've had it done to me. And it'll come around. It just takes time, man. It's just like everything else. You can't come out and be number one as soon as you start.
That's for sure. Well, Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and get real personal about the program. I know we asked you some questions today that we didn't delve into back then, but I think that you've had enough time on the product and stuff now that you can answer that openly and honestly. And I appreciate your openness and your honesty here today, because it's good to know that, man. And it's good to know that you're open-minded enough to accept that what you've got is good and make the best out of it, and you are doing that, man. This is going to be a great season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything's coming together, and I can't thank my sponsor. Precision with George over at Precision RP definitely stepped up. He's my title sponsor, and he's definitely making this happen for me and letting me do this full time. Moto Experts building the motors. That program's just top notch, right on top of everything, and he's built me a lot of stuff to try, and we're still building stuff. If you're not testing, you're not going any faster. An Axis shock, they've been kind of out of the market for a bit, and we got back into it. I think we had a good showing. Lone Star's back on board. ITP, Douglas, JT Racing stepped on board with me. Scott Goggles, Leat braces, ITP tires, DP brakes, Streamline. Just all these guys that are coming together in tire balls. It just, I can't ask for a better program. I put on this quad where I felt like I was able to win a championship on, and for being one race in, I know it's early, but I feel confident. I feel really good, and I feel that my program, like you said, is definitely top notch, and the factory family is definitely out in full force, and the mafia is pulling for me, and it's nice because like the Facebook thing and the Twitter stuff I have going on, and just the comments and everything, people, I think the support now is bigger than it was in years past, and just knowing that I know where everybody comes from now. Not a lot of people have been able to have the gift that I did, and that's what it was, to be able to be a factory rider, and for me to essentially walk out on it and start my own program and feel confident enough to do that. I know where a lot of these families are coming from, struggling to get to the races and, fighting to get these bikes together and relying on families to pull together, mom cooking and dad working on stuff late and, girlfriends helping you, make sure you got everything packed. And it's definitely a family effort, and that's one thing I don't want people to forget about out here is, if it wasn't for family, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I know a lot of people wouldn't be where they're at, because it's definitely a lot of sacrifice and a lot of stuff you have to give up. And I really, really appreciate everything that everybody's done for me. And my biggest thing is I just want to stay humble, and it's definitely humbling knowing that I essentially just walked out on a deal.
That's for sure, man. Good talking to you. That's Adam McGill. I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.